a joie de vivre, a joy of life.
Trust, authenticity, and connection.
It's all about showing how human, the people in the industry are.
If you could write yourself a permission slip for your own artistry, what would it say?
Hello, Danny from Actors Coaching International in the US.
Hello, Daniel from Actors Coaching International in the UK.
So, Danny, what classes does ACI provide?
I'm so pleased you asked that, Daniel. We provide weekly core acting classes.
Online and in person.
We run self-tape classes.
Casting director workshops.
Audition-ready classes.
Industry professional workshops with award-winning directors.
Script analysis sessions.
Intensive 2-day acting workshops.
Why not go to actorscoachinginternational.com to find out more.
Daniel Dresner in the UK, Danny Steele in the US, co-owners of Actors Coaching International, sponsors of In the Room Series 3. You've come back in the room. You're back. How's life?
It was lonely out there, Matt, but we came back in the room. We had to.
It's really good to be back, Matt. Thanks for inviting us back.
It's amazing to have you both on. So, for new listeners of In the Room, these brilliant two people were the sponsors of our second series at In the Room. They jumped in to give us an opportunity to help us boost the podcast and for us in hand to boost their wonderful acting school, Actors Coaching International. And we're thrilled that they've come back to sponsor Series 3. You'll be seeing them at the start of all of our episodes and you can hear more about them right now, which is going to be joyous. And yeah, just for those sponsor clips you're going to hear through the series, we went through multiple edits to get what we were happy with for that one. And these two were wonderful, taking on acting notes, re-recording, giving us options. So we really hope those adverts work because a lot of blood, sweat and tears went into them, but it's brilliant.
Mostly tears, to be honest. Mostly tears.
Mostly tears. And for those people joining us in the room for the first time today who might not have seen you two before, might have missed our previous sponsored podcast, if so, they should go back and listen to that, listen to all of Series 2, listen to Series 1 where we talked to Danny about union management, and then come back to this one. But if they can't be bothered, can you introduce yourselves to our audience, who you are and what you do, and then Actors Coaching International?
Hi, I'm Danny. I am a film and television agent. I'm a casting assistant. I am a coach, and I am a co-owner of Actors Coaching International, along with Daniel.
Yeah, Danny sells himself short because he's also a Renaissance man, because he's also an award-winning writer of a one-person show. So, and he's a very talented man all around, as you can tell by watching him, really. And my name is Daniel Dresner. I am a qualified life coach and acting coach and a teacher. And my clients range from those starting out in the business all the way up to Hollywood stars and household names. And I am also a published writer. Conveniently have my book right here called A Life Coaching Approach to Screen Acting, published by Bloomsbury Methuen. And yes, so I can send signed copies and all the rest of it if people get in touch with me.
Yeah.
And I have a joie de vivre, a joy of life is basically my thing.
Absolutely. And tell us about Actors Coaching International. If you have a couple of sentences to tell us, summarize what you guys are about, what the business is about, what would that be?
We could sum it up with our values, couldn't we, Dan?
Yeah, it's a great question. Our core values are aligned. So actually, I would take it back to trust, authenticity, and connection. And, if you come to Actors Coaching International, you will see those core values reflected in our work, reflected in the classes.
Yeah, it's like the connection thing is fantastic. All of our actors always leave the class having forgotten their cares and their worries in life. There's such a powerful bond with them. We don't encourage any, I would say negativity. I don't mean negative. We're not all fluffy bunny, everything's beautiful. There are lots of things that there might be some tensions or something to do with the work. But everybody has their place, whether they're inexperienced actors or very experienced actors. There is always a common ground with this, again, difficult to say, but the type of person, the common ground of being somebody who's interested in the work and interested in the people they're working with and interested in themselves as well, in improving as a person.
Absolutely. And what's great about you guys is, as you mentioned the word values, that is the center of everything you do. And the work that you guys have developed and continue to grow is all grounded in those values, and that your acting school is unique because no one else could run Actors Coaching International because they don't have the same values, which adds a real authenticity to the classes, which is fantastic. Now, tell us, how has Actors Coaching International grown since the last time we spoke? So that's about a year ago, maybe early 2022, I think. What's been going on? What's changed?
That's a lovely question to answer, Danny, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Over to you or over to me?
Well, I think you could probably, the main thing in a way is Danny is currently, as we're recording this, in the States.
Yes.
So we are truly international, and we run online classes from Atlanta at the moment, and also from the UK. And
we're expanding our classes. We did a 6-week pick and mix course earlier this year, encompassing various aspects of the industry. We do regular self-tape workout sessions. Daniel puts on his Real and Believable classes every few months. We have new classes coming on, audition-ready classes. We do monthly free industry professional connective meetups that we have with casting directors, with producers, with showrunners. We're expanding in a big way.
And it's all about that. And I love those industry professional sessions because it's an opportunity for our actors to meet people on a very human level. It's not just going in, doing their thing and leaving and feeling nervous, but the way we run them, it's all about showing how human, the people in the industry are. And we're very careful who we choose to come
100%.
along and talk to our people. The humanity of it all is essential.
Just going back to the connection thing, every booking that we get as actors comes from a relationship. And this is what we are all about, connecting relationships, connecting people. We've had people called in from our industry professional sessions, and they say, I spoke to blah, blah on this session, and now I want to call them in for this, to read through this role. So it's really good what we're doing.
Yeah. And also lots of our actors will help on self-tapes together. There's a huge sense of community is a great word. And I really understand, Danny and I both mean by the word community. It's not some little room somewhere on an estate somewhere. What it is it's visceral, it's internal, it's physical, it's emotional, all of these things. And when you can have that sense of community and understanding of yourself and your fellow actors, you can go further in life and in the profession.
I agree. And what was really nice about you guys is you started off with your core values, and then you introduced your core acting classes, and you built a really firm base before adding all the variety to it. And what you've now got is you've got variety, but not too much. You say pick and mix, but it's like a pick and mix that won't make you sick afterwards. It's one that's just the right amount of sweets is brilliant. And the fact that you've both performed, you're both actors yourselves, you know what's valuable to actors. And as you say, the free sessions are amazing. While it'll be long gone when this episode is released, tomorrow you are offering, it's the monthly thing, it's with Theo Park Casting, or an assistant or an associate at Theo Park Casting. And for actors to meet these sort of professionals for free is a brilliant way to just get in with you guys and get a vibe of you lot as well. It's really fantastic what you're doing.
Hi, we're selftape.co.uk, but don't forget the hyphen. That's self-tape.co.uk. It's a bit of a mouthful, but it's a mouthful worth chewing on. Anyway, as the name suggests, we do self-tapes for actors in London. Maybe you've run out of time. Maybe you have kids. Perhaps you can't find a reader. Or, let's face it, you could just be a little bit at setting everything up. Well, that's where we come in. But it's not all we offer. No, we also shoot showreels for actors too. Custom showreel scenes shot from scratch to show casting directors and agents exactly what you can do. Well, that is, if they can be bothered to watch. Any In The Room listeners get 10% off all of our services just by quoting In The Room. So get in touch and visit www.selftape.co.uk. Or don't, it's completely up to you. But whatever you do, don't forget the hyphen, you get it.
And, one of the key aspects of Actors Coaching International is on helping actors develop their emotional intelligence. And can you share either a specific example of an actor in one of your classes who this really benefited, or more generally, a certain technique or class that you run that has a positive effect?
For example, one class that I ran as part of my pick and mix 6-week sessions earlier this year was a class that I had so much passion about. It was called Creativity and Getting to the Flow of Yourself. And actually, this particular class class was all about identifying ways in which we sabotage, identifying ways in which we kind of get in our heads and get in our own way, and actually enabling the flow of the universe to kind of move through us into our creativity and so much more, unlocking those parts of ourselves that perhaps we've kept kind of locked up, perhaps we've kind of a bit shame about them, just unlocking those parts. Because it's so easy for actors to kind of tie ourselves up in knots and think things have to be perfect or, whatever.
Somebody else who works with us a lot is a teacher, actress, guru, Reiki master called, Reiki teacher called Lorna Dempsey. And her classes, it's just incredible seeing the feedback after them. Because what happens there is it's all about, oh my God, what did we just go through? So in terms of emotional intelligence, the three of us really get challenge people in a very positive way to look at humanity, to look at themselves as a human being, and to look at the characters that they're being asked to play in the circumstances that they're playing them, that these characters are living. So to be able to do justice to that, and ultimately to be able to get work and to do the work and to get more work as a result of good work, it behooves us to be able to tap into that emotional intelligence that you're talking about. That's stuff that we had maybe when we were 7 or 8. And there was no holds barred. It was, if you're happy, you're happy, and you just show it. And if you're sad, you're sad, and you just show it.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
And that type of work does take a real leap of faith, but I really encourage people to do it, especially if they haven't done that type of work before, because it's one of those things where you might deny the fact you're blocking yourself because you don't yet have the developed emotional intelligence to know that you're being blocked or where it is coming from. So to just, if it sounds a bit in your head, just go for it and give it a go, because you never know what you might unlock. And when that goes, when you find that release and you go, oh wow, okay, now I get it. It's that moment alone is worth it to try a slightly different approach, which I really encourage people to give a go.
Yeah, I want to add something, Matt, just to caveat that, just put it to bookend it in a way, is that it is in a safe environment, that Danny and I know, we, inverted commas, know what we're doing, and we understand very much that everybody's an individual and that different people have different buttons and different triggers and different routes in and routes out. And it's very, very safe. I'm just aware that very often actors and acting coaches talk a lot about emotions. They talk a lot about all what we're talking about, and it can be misrepresented. And I just want to say that safety first in a way, but safety with we hold the space, is the way of putting it.
Well, it goes back to what you said about community, doesn't it? Is that when you take a time to build a community like that, and even if you're a newbie, if you go in, while initially you can be like, oh God, everyone knows each other here. And once you get over that, you go, oh, everyone knows each other here because everyone likes each other here and everyone works together here. And once you open that door, then it's giving actors permission to be vulnerable, isn't it? Which is the most difficult thing. It's what actors really struggle with in auditions, isn't it?
And that's a really interesting word that you use there, Matt, permission. And it's something I talk about a lot. If you could write yourself a permission slip for your own artistry, what would it say? What would you give yourself permission for? Or what would you give yourself permission not to do anymore? And it's these kind of little permission slips that we all kind of walk around, because we are walking permission slips. And so it allows us to kind of, once you realize things like that, then we're like, okay, great. I can now do this thing that I've been holding myself back on.
Absolutely. And you kind of mentioned some of the holistic approaches before, the Reiki guru that you've got in some of your classes. But do you have any other sort of mindfulness or meditation techniques or something like that? Because you mentioned holistic approach on your website. How do you incorporate those into your coaching sessions? Or is it solely the Reiki sessions, or does it sort of underpin a lot of what you do across multiple classes?
I don't think that Lorna does. I'm not sure, but I don't think she does Reiki. Yeah. And I don't think that we necessarily bring a technique into what we do, bring techniques consciously. Well, I can speak for myself. I bring coaching. I have certificates in coaching, history of I have a business degree. I bring all of these things, certificates of merit from wherever. I bring all of these things in, and it just becomes part of what I do. So yeah, it is a holistic, because it's what we're talking about so far in a way, because we are sum of so many parts. I could break it down what my parts are, but the sum of it is so much bigger than whether I'm a coach, whether I'm a teacher, whether I'm a business person, whether I'm an, whatever.
Totally. Well, it goes back to the idea that an actor is never just an actor, is it? You're inhabiting,
Right.
you're trying to inhabit truthful characters and real people, and that comes from bringing everything that you have into the room and just knowing that, maybe, as you mentioned, there could be tensions in relation to the work. If you're having a bad day, it's gonna naturally become part of the work as long as it doesn't negatively affect your scene partner or whatever, right? That sort of speaks to what you're saying in the sense of who you are and what you've done that might not even necessarily be outwardly connected to acting is gonna incorporate itself into your teaching approach.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear from you guys. What does the future look like, or you believe will look like for Actors Coaching International? Where do you see yourselves going, growing? Is there anything you can tell us, or be vague as you like? Whatever. I'm opening up the floor to you two.
One of our goals is to open up kind of more in-person classes in London and elsewhere in the UK and also in the US as well.
Physical spaces.
Physical spaces, yeah.
Yeah.
But also the thing is we're in this kind of new world now, and everything is on Zoom, right? And it's a different skill set. And of course, some people would prefer to work in the room. However, all of the auditions I've had recently, all of the recalls I've had recently, it's all on Zoom. Everything is all on Zoom. So it's just keeping that skill set and just learning to work with it more, learning to work in these little small boxes much more, because you still have the connection. You still have the authenticity here, even if it's on Zoom.
In the last year and a bit, we had goals and plans at the beginning about, we had a business plan and where we're going to be in a year and, etc. How many people are we going to have? And what's happened to me personally, because Danny and I are very different, and again, we're the sum of our parts. What's happened to me is to leave things a lot more to the inverted commas universe, knowing that if we put the work in and we enjoy what we're doing, then the business will expand and we will earn money from it, rather than the other way around, which is we want to earn £5 million by within the next 2 years and open these many spaces in these cities.
Well, if that's going on, you give me a call, Daniel. Okay, let's just get that sorted right away. And I expect a higher sponsorship fee for series 6, 7, or 8.
We're
or
only
whatever
on 3 million. It's only 3 million. So
1 million drachma. I was talking about zloty. But the thing, so for me, I like this organic growth. Neither Danny nor myself are the sorts of guys who are going to stand around waiting, being satisfied and living on our laurels and just saying, I'm here, where's the remote control? I'm just going to bed myself down for the next box set. We're not like that. So my feeling is that when we speak to you sponsoring the next season, it's going to be very interesting for us to see how we've developed. Yeah. And that's exciting for me.
Yeah.
It's really cool. And just to touch back on what you said about practicing being in those little boxes, is that, if that's how the work in real life is actually going to get done a lot of the time, especially the audition process, which is the main thing to practice, because you're going to generally, on the whole, be spending more time auditioning than you are actually working in your acting life. On the whole, there are exceptions to this. So, if there are going to be auditions on Zoom, recalls on Zoom, then practicing in the environment that you're going to end up doing it in is just as important as being in the space with other actors. So doing that mix is really good, especially when you have self-tape readers as well. Sometimes if you're reading with someone on a self-tape, they're doing it on a laptop the other side of your tripod, and knowing to connect with a sort of electronic voice naturally, it's a really useful skill to develop. Would you agree?
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, 100%. And it's something that we talk about a lot.
And it shouldn't be a surprise all of a sudden, I've got this self-tape, oh my God, what do I do now? Oh dear, is that what they sound like on the laptop on the other side of my tripod?
Yeah.
They've been doing it week after week after week after week with us, and things become very easy.
Excuse me. And, we are witnessing people's growth. We're so privileged. A lot of our actors have been with us since the very, very beginning. And we have this magnificent loyal base, and they book month after month after month. And we're just creating this community, this sanctuary, this safe sanctuary for actors to grow in and play in and just have joy in.
So satisfying. I know, we all have complicated, well, not we all, I have a complicated life, and I get exhausted, and Monday, do 6 o'clock till 9 o'clock. I've been working all day, with family and all the rest. Do I really want to do a class? And within about 30 seconds, everything's gone. It's just fantastic. And Danny and I always get in touch after the classes, and sometimes even in the middle of the classes. And just to say,
that's true, actually.
Just relaying how how enjoyable it all is.
Yeah.
What a great thing we're doing for ourselves and for other people.
I know you're not the biggest fan of the word teacher, Daniel, but I do teach as well in a different format, although it is acting. And I agree with you that when you're allowed to teach in the way that you want to, and you're working with people that you love or you want to support, there is really something that just flicks a fire in you and finds that extra level that you need. Lastly, if an actor would like to start working with you in Actors Coaching International, which we at In the Room would heavily encourage that you do so, where can they find out more information about you? And is there an ideal class or route that a newbie should take when looking at Actors Coaching International?
The first thing I would say is to email us. Our email is hello@actorsci.com. Our core acting classes are a great way to start. Online Monday evenings. So Daniel and I take turns every week. Online Monday evenings or in person Wednesday afternoons.
And we have a website, which is actorscoachinginternational.com or actorsci.com. But my feeling on that is that whatever floats your boat, man. If you want to, if you see something that you think is of interest to you, if you can afford the fee, what have you got to lose? You're not going to have a bad time. You're not going to not learn anything at all. Come along and have a look. And you can audit stuff if you want as well. We certainly don't mind that. We want to make it as easy as possible.
Also, just on that note, we have a kindness fund that some of our actors regularly contribute to. So if it's a finance thing, get in touch with us anyway, because there's more than a likely chance that we can help you out.
We have this is the community side. We have particularly there's one lady who's going to remain nameless who every month puts some money in to help out other actors, and it is just
So just get in contact with us. We'd rather help you, work with you, grow, help you grow yourself, than not.
That's lovely. I think that's a beautiful way to sum it up, that whole atmosphere that you guys have there, the values that underpin your work. The word community came up and it's so, so true. You guys are wonderful. You've always got actors at the forefront of your mind. It's why you do it. It's why you love what you do. And while it is successful and continue to be successful, it's great that we've got you guys sponsoring Series 3. We're thrilled to have you back. Can't wait to see where you guys grow and hope that you'll be sponsoring us long into the future and we can continue this relationship because we love having you guys here.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Matt. I appreciate you.
Thank
Goodbye,
you.
team. See ya.
See you all. Thank you, everybody.